Hi guys, Kirk and Jay here with Kirk, Giordano Plastering. Today what I want to explain is some veneer plasters. What is veneer plaster? The majority of veneer plasters are for interior bathrooms, showers, kitchens, someplace where you want a hard, durable, dense, and strong finish. So like if you can go taping mud here, but it's 3 separate trips and you have to put the first coat on, allow it to set 24 hours, second coat, let that set, and third coat, then you got to sand the piss out of it. Takes 3 separate days for something this small. It is, I've done it many times, but it's pretty time consuming. This particular material I'm using here is an imperial base. What is an imperial base? It's a veneer plaster. Veneer plasters are really strong. And you go about a 1/16 of an inch to 3/32 of an inch for your first coat. Anyhow, I'll show you, I'll get started here with, say, this shower here. And by the way, my buddy did the tile here. He got slits in the floor for the water to drain, and the surround or the door is going to go right here. It's going to be really cool. But okay, I'll show you how we apply this veneer plaster. And usually, guys, if you can apply taping mud, you can apply a veneer plaster or compound plaster or cement or anything. It just takes a little bit of practice. Now again, I said a second ago that we can go anywhere between a 1/16 or say 3/2 of an inch with this. For my purposes, 1/8 of an inch is fine, because we're going to double up in about 45 minutes to an hour with diamond. Now, I mentioned I'm using a base coat of Imperial. Imperial has a finish coat also, but I'm kind of fond of using diamond over the base coat of Imperial. I've done them both. Actually, diamond makes a base coat. Diamond actually makes a finish coat too. What's the difference between the two? A little bit of structural strength. A few other things, I'm sure, but for the sake of explaining a few things, I'll tell you that a lot of these finishes were, say like, I'm just going over sheetrock right now. If I was going over the old lath where it has slits on it where the mud mushrooms between the two, I'd use, say, I could use this base coat, or I could use a Structolite and go 1/2 inch to an inch for my base coat. But we're going over sheetrock now. Sheetrock has started about 30s and 40s, brought over from Europe, and it's been used here for since early 40s, late or early, early 30s, late 40s, early 50s, somewhere around that time. And I'll tell you, the sheetrock makes life a lot easier. Also with sheetrock, you got a lot of different colors. Usually the colors dictate what its intended purpose is. This particular product here, let's see, can you see? You won't be able to see me spreading anymore. Well, just for the sake of, you won't be able to see me spreading anymore, but I'll give you an idea of different sheetrocks. If you have the old gray paperback sheetrock, or the blue board, that's specifically engineered for plasters. You don't need a bonding agent. This is white sheetrock. Or even if I'm going over any existing wall, then you need a bonding agent. That's what that pink stuff is. If there is a purple sheetrock and there is a green sheetrock, those are pretty much the same thing. Those are like mold and moisture resistant. Can't say waterproof, that's a dirty word in the plastering industry. Nobody likes to hear that word, but the purple board and the green are mainly for showers, bathrooms, things of that nature where you're worried about water. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this base coat here. Then when I get to the actual finish coat, I'll show you that too, because I can apply that same day in about an hour. And guys, that beats the hell out of doing the so-called taping mud, where you're here just too long. So when I get to that stage, I'll show you that finish over this finish, which when done right, it gives you a really, really strong plaster finish, which hides all the joints, imperfections. You don't see the nail heads, but he used screws anyway. I'll show you that part when we get to it. All right, guys, we are back, and that has set enough. I got cool air coming through here. So what we're going to do now is just put the veneer finish on, and we're doing a smooth coat today on this here. Can you do a float finish, make it look sandy? Yes. Can you do a skip trowel? Yes. If you're doing a float finish, say for example, where you want it to look sandy, in the finish coat, just add a little bit of silica sand. And what you do is you take a sponge float, or you take just a sponge that they use for tile, and make circles in it. And it gives a really cool pattern. So you can do a lot of stuff with these veneer finishes. And the best part is there's no sanding. As I was saying in another video, that a lot of these veneer finishes, if you can use your tools to spread, say, taping mud, you can do these. I got asked, well, how come I never see it done here? Well, only plastering contractors usually do this. If you hire a fella to do the taping mud or the sheetrock, what he's going to use is a bazooka, and that just he tapes and does the seams at the same time. It's economical. If you're going to do the diamond finishes, you just need a fella who is familiar with veneer plasters. I'll tell you, in Ireland, that's all they do, veneer plasters. They don't do a lot of taping mud stuff. Anyhow, so we are moving with this. And for any of you folks who say, how come I don't use other finishes? There's a lot of finishes you can use, guys. Again, I don't recommend taping mud in the bathroom, but have I done it? Absolutely. Just depends on what a person wants. They tell me, Kirk, put this, we put it. But I always recommend something better like this. And by the way, guys, what would happen if I just used, say, a diamond or an imperial finish without a base coat? Well, of course I tried it. And what happens is the finish slops all over the place, because it has a tendency, if you just use, say, just a diamond finish over sheetrock without the two-coat process, it has a tendency to slide, drag. You can see the blemishes. Sometimes the heads of the screws bleed through. A lot of different stuff. So save yourself the time, and don't try to just use the veneer over it unless you're experienced and you know how to do it. But for you homeowners, stick with the two-coat. And these bags actually weigh about 50 pounds. You kind of get what you pay for. At 50 pounds, somebody might say, well, heck with that. I'll just go ahead and use a 20-minute compound, which you can use. The bags are a lot lighter, and they come in 10, 20, 40, 60, 90 minutes before they set. This particular stuff here sets in about, I'd say about 40 minutes to an hour. If you have dirty tools, a dirty bucket, a dirty drill, they will set about half that time. Notice this base coat, it's got sand in it. This doesn't have any sand. See how it darkened? That's when it's dry, when it starts to darken. So we're going to finish up the rest. That camera won't show it, and I'll show you the finished product when we get to that stage. Okay, guys, I'll give you a last couple tips that I've learned over the years. So I put a piece of red tape here around the surround where I'm going. And I take a little bitty brush now, and we just clean up that guy right there. And if you get any slobbers on the wall, just take a towel and wipe it down. Or better yet, if you folks watching me are not plasters. Cover everything with plastic. I'll show you, explain a tip that old Fred Smith taught me 30 years ago. He would do 2 rooms and I'd barely finish one, and I'd say, dude, how are you able to do it that fast? And he'd say, because I lay it on almost to perfection. What does that mean? Back then I would slop it on and it looked like crap. I was using a 12 by 5 square trowel. It's just a little bit bigger than this stainless steel. And he had a pretty big trowel. I mean, it was like a 20-inch, and he'd slam it out. He wasn't using a swimming pool trowel. And by the way, guys, this so-called swimming pool trowel is straight on the edges here. It's just curved on the radius. But anyway, he said, leave it as good as you can. That way, when you come back to use your felt brush or the big paint brush or a spray bottle, which we use these days, what we do is we hit it with water and then bring it back to life. And when it starts to darken like this, it's starting to set. On such a little thing here, I don't need any water because I've been doing this too long. So you see my finish. I laid it on well. Now I'll take a wet trowel, and yeah, I'm using a pretty big trowel. People always comment and say, man, how could you use that big thing? Just practice, guys. Take a big trowel now, and what we're doing is just bringing it to a smoother finish. And as I said earlier, yeah, you can do a texture, you can do float finish, you can do a sponge sand finish, you can do any finish. But there you have it, guys. I'm gonna take care of a couple little holidays here. But as that dries, it's pretty damn strong. So anyway, I'm sure I missed a lot of tips and techniques as far as the makings of all of these veneer plasters, but you could always go to Google and hit diamond veneer plaster, diamond base coats, imperial plaster. It's made by the same company. Anyway, they come out really nice. They're like glass. If you touch it when it's dry, it feels like glass, hard and solid. If you touch taping mud, it feels kind of soft and warm, makes you fuzzy. But anyway, guys, there's the tip on using these interior veneer finishes. And as I said earlier, they're great for kitchens, bathrooms, steam rooms where you know you're going to get a lot of moisture because they are water resistant. My name is Kirk, Jason on the camera. We thank you for watching. And as usual, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Once again, folks, we thank you for watching, and I really enjoy all your comments.
If you guys like this video, please click the like button down below. And also, if you enjoy what we do, subscribe to our channel so we can keep making these videos for you.
My name is Kirk.
And Jay.
We thank you for watching, and from the entire Giordano family, we'll see you on the next one.